there, welcome to my channel. I am Stephanie. This is day 27 of VEDA video every day in April. And today I'm bringing you a kind of get to know me, kind of bookish tag. Okay, so this tag was inspired by my friend Monique over at Monique's Bookshelf book list. I will put her channel name down in the description box so that you guys can go check it out. It was super fun. She did it a couple days ago, and I was like, I've got to know what your answers are, or I've got to get a copy of that. So she was kind enough to write them up for me. So she went to a couple different websites, which I will list in the description box as well. So if you decide that you want to do this tag as well, you can. You can change up the questions. There are 50 of them, I believe. And yes, I'm going to try and do them as a rapid fire, but at the same time, like I said, if you want to do them, you can go and use the links down below in the description box and pull your own questions. So let's just jump right into this so this video isn't too long. I'm going completely off the cuff for it. If I have book covers to put in, I will try and put them in over there, of course. But for the most part, I did not prepare anything for this one. So how many books do I currently own? So I don't know how many books I actually own. I own a lot. And most of them are signed copies. So there is no way that I'll be unhauling any of them, even the ones that I dislike, that I have personally worked to see the author and get signed. I'm not getting rid of them. They're just going to stay on my shelves. They're going to be my abuse things. How many books am I currently reading? I am currently reading one book right now, but I can always slide up that that number sometimes, but currently I'm reading one book. Alrighty, choose a couple of books you read but didn't enjoy. That is so easy. That list is actually really long, kind of long, pretty long, sometimes like really long. But I wasn't a fan of Photos of You by Tammy Robinson. The Proposal by Jasmine Guillory. I think that is the worst book out of that series. I also wasn't a fan of Royal Holiday from Jasmine Guillory as well. Gosh, just looking, because I have shelves of books all over the place. I think those are the ones I'm going to go with. I'm not going to do any other ones because that would require me to really think about some stuff. The next question is a book you own but hate the cover. That is so difficult. Cause I have so many books. You're gonna make me. I guess we'll go with this one, which is A Muffin Top by Avery Flynn. Not a huge fan. It says it's a rom-com, but I have read this and it didn't really work out that way. It's more about a woman that is insecure in her size. And yes, the whole play on Muffin Top sounded like it would be a fun thing, but it just kind of was painful. And I'm not a fan of that cover. I would think I would want something different. Okay. A cover by. So I'm just going to pick a book that was a cover by, and that is super not simple. Something that was a cover by. I guess we'll go with these two. with this one. This is Insidious, and this is by Alethea Romig, my favorite author. I purchased this book right here, this cover right here. I absolutely love this cover. However, I think it was changed so that more on brand for Alethea to this one right here with the rose and the blood and the craziness that is within this psychological thriller that has a little tiny bit of romance in it. It could be said, but it's left open-ended, so there really isn't it can't be named as a romance. I would say that. Because, yeah, there's a little open ending to it. But these two covers, I absolutely love this original cover, and then we have this one. That is, it's just as good. It's pretty, but that one, so good, so good. Okay, a book you haven't read in years. I could probably go back to those. I don't do very much rereading. But I also haven't read The Giving Tree, which I bought so that my son could read it at some point in time. Which I read when I was a child by Shel Silverstein. I believe that's who wrote The Giving Tree. A book you will always recommend. I stopped recommending books because people's tastes are so wildly different than mine. Things that I absolutely love and adore in books, some people don't like them. So what I started to do was asking people for their top 3 like movies, favorite movies type thing, or what their 3 favorite movies of the moment is, what their mood is, and then I'll base my recommendation from there. Okay, all-time favorite book series is most definitely the Consequences series, which is right there by Alethea Romig. I love that series. I don't, like I said earlier, I don't reread very often, but that is a series that I would reread over and over again. Let's see. Where do you read? So I read mostly in my bed or in my chair that's in our living room so that I can sort of consider myself as having family time because I'm still in the same room with them. But doesn't necessarily mean that I'm paying attention to them. Yeah. Okay. Where or what are the last 2 books that I gave 5 stars to and why? Oh goodness. Let me see. So grab my journal right here. I believe I just gave a 5-star out too. So dealing with rounding and stuff like that, I actually gave 2 5-stars out last week. And the first one is Trap by Jennifer Rebecca. This is a romantic suspense, and I really enjoyed this book because it had such a ingrained military feeling to it. You can obviously tell that Jennifer Rebecca is either a military spouse, has somebody very close to her that is in the military. She got lots of details that were just spot on, and I really enjoyed it. And I also gave Redemption, which is by Laura Lee, and gave this one 5 stars. This is also part of the Salvation Society, and it really just grabbed me and pulled me by the bootstrings, and I just loved the aspect, even though there's a lot of content warnings for PTSD and abuse and healing and things like that. I still really enjoyed the book. It hit me emotionally, and I was here for that. An author you've read the most books from, I believe that is still going to be Alethea Romig, but I think Corinne Michaels is joining her in that most read, because those 2 I think are the most published authors that I've read of their books. They're both indie authors, and I think I've read the most from the 2 of them. Currently reading. I am currently reading Reawakening the Dragon by Jess Donovan because I'm in a PNR kind of mood. Best sequel ever. I don't have a best sequel ever. Nope. I read a lot of series, a lot of spin-offs, a lot of continuation stories with Easter eggs and things like that, so I don't really have a best series or sequel. Let's see. Drink of choice while reading. I have a Hydro Flask cup, and water, tea, soda, things like that are always in there. I also like hot tea, which is always a nice thing on a cold day. E-reader or physical copy. Although I have all these amazing pretty books and I get to show them to you sometimes, like for this entire month, I was showing you books and things like that. I actually prefer my e-reader or my Fire, which I can listen to audiobooks or text-to-speech on. Fictional character you would have dated in high school. Wow, I've read a lot of books. As a matter of fact, at the beginning of April, I hit 2,000 books since 2012. And that's a lot of characters. So some would say that I was nerdy because I was in the orchestra, but others would probably be like, oh, she's a good time kind of chick. She likes to hang out and stuff like that. So I don't really have a character that I would have dated that I can think of. I really don't. I don't. Like, no. Nope, couldn't tell you. Let's see. Glad you gave this book a chance. A book that I'm glad that I gave a chance. It's way over there, but it's House of Dragons by K.A. Lindy. It is a YA fantasy, and I really, really enjoyed it. I don't know if I could say YA. I would definitely say new adult fantasy because of the ages of the characters. I really enjoyed it, and I was very surprised by it. I'm also surprised by the seasons of something or another series that I read by two authors, and those are YA, that I was just like, wow, that really kind of stuck with me, and I was really excited to read that. Let's see. Hidden gem of a book. I am going to interpret this as being, something that's kind of underrated. I know a lot of people have read Dear Martin by Nick Stone. However, you don't hear about it very often now that the kind of hype and hoopla has, went down from it. And I definitely think it's a really, really balanced, good book, especially if you are a person that is all over the social injustices that are happening in the United States at this point in time. I think that book gives a balanced and beautiful and thought-provoking look at the issues that are being had in the brown versus blue communities. Important moment in your reading life. I would probably have to say that the moment or the day that I found out how to use text-to-speech on my Fire to listen to my ARC books, I was like, pfft. And the moment that I found audiobooks, that I actually found an audiobook and figured out how to be able to speed them up and really enjoy them, and kind of get my brain acclimated to it, I was like, oh yes, I can read so many more books now. So yeah, there's that. Kind of books I won't read. I am not doing nobody's horror. No. Pound sand. You will not find me reading any horror. There may be some horror elements within stories that I've read that I enjoy, some dark and twisted stuff that ends up happening, but a straight out labeled and marketed as a horror book, not me. I don't like my television shows to have horror or to be horror in genre. I'm not trying to read about it either. Longest book I've ever read. I believe that goes to Outlander. I've read some anthologies that would top out, according to Goodreads, as the longest books, but I believe Outlander is the longest book. Outlander or Dragonflies in Amber, one of the two, but they're both Outlander books, by Diana Gabaldon, by the way. Okay, number of bookshelves that I own. I own the 4 here, 5, 6, 7. And then I have 7 that are already set up that have books on them, and then I have 3 that I need to build. One book I've read multiple times. Like I said, I've read the Consequences series multiple times. I have read oh wow. The Life of Anna series by Marissa Honeycutt I've read a couple times. As a matter of fact, I'm in the middle of a reread of that right now. But other than that, I really couldn't. I don't think there's another book. Oh, and 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James. I've read that multiple times. Quote that inspires you. Dang it, you would ask me for a quote. I don't have a quote. I'm not a quote kind of person. I like the tagline from Dear Life, which is Prove Your Existence, by Megan Quinn. I do love that one. Then there are, I'm sure, other quotes that I would think of, but not coming to my brain right now. Not coming to my brain as inspirational, at least. Do you get sick while reading in a car? No, because most of the time I am reading an audiobook. And then if I'm not driving, if I am driving and I have someone else in the car, then I'm listening to an audiobook or if I am driving and there's somebody else in the car, say my son or something like that, I'm not listening to books. If I am the passenger in the front seat and, trying to like go somewhere or something like that with the family, and I get a chance to listen to a book, because it seems like when I pull out my books and we're on a road trip, people want to talk to me, i.e. the husband and son. So there's not very much reading that goes along, but I'll listen to an audiobook before I'll actually like physically read. So no getting sick there. Which author's writing style is completely unique to you and why? I love Alethea Romig's writing style. She just does it for me. I have been reading her since she started, and I love that she has progressed throughout the years and has changed a little bit and become more twisty and crazy and nuanced and everything like that. I love Megan Quinn's writing. I love Kennedy Ryan's writing. She is such a powerhouse of a emotional, realistic writer that I know when I read a Kennedy Ryan book that I'm going to be emotionally taken on a journey, and I'm going to feel it. I'm going to feel it. Let's see. Harry Potter series or the Twilight series, give 3 points to defend your answer. So I would probably say the Twilight series, just because I have not actually read the Harry Potter series. And for the Twilight series, I read it when I was an adult, so I was able to take off the adult hat and understand that the relationship between Bella and Edward, it was toxic, and that it was not okay for his stalking tendencies, but I was okay with it. The fact that I can understand how it could be such a fandom. It was really easy to read. It just kind of flowed, and it kind of drags you in. And then for the third, I just thought it was I thought it was an interesting premise. I mean, I did. I enjoyed it. Let's see. Do I carry a book bag? So I don't carry physical books with me for the most part, unless I'm going to a book signing. And then I have a cart, which is a must for book signings and things like that. But just to go out and about, I have my Kindle Fire, and then I guess you can call this a book bag, but this holds my Kindles in it. And yes, I said multiple. I'll put my Fire in there. I'll put my notebook in there. I'll put my 2 Kindles that I have, Kindle Paperwhites that I have in there. Let's see. Do you smell your books? No, I don't smell my books. Books with or without little illustrations. I have come to find that I enjoy a good illustration. I enjoy a good placed illustration. And thank you, Miss Kenya Wright, for bringing me to that realization that illustrations can really brighten the world of a novel. Okay, what book did you love while reading but discovered later it wasn't quality writing? I would have to say 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James. I would never ever say that that is like a Pulitzer Prize winning book or series or anything like that. It did its job to get more people reading romance and, you know, making it mainstream, making it okay, letting people explore things that may have been taboo. It opened doors to allow people to explore, and I am thoroughly thankful for that. Let's see. Do you have any funny stories involving books from your childhood? No, I don't. I was not a big reader. I actually hated reading when I was younger, and if I didn't have to read, I wouldn't read. Let's see. Do you write as well as I read? Do you see yourself as a future, in the future, being an author? No, I have no desire. And a lot of people have mentioned that or suggested that, oh, you should write a book. Nope, that's okay. I shall stay in my own lane as a reviewer and as a reader, someone that enjoys listening to the characters that pop into other people's heads. That is more my speed. I will never be a reader, an author. And I think there's probably people that would complain about my reviews or the writing of my reviews, because I'm very much a write how I felt and then leave it at that. I'm not a planned out person that writes reviews where I'm like, oh, here's the synopsis, here's this and here's that, and trying to dissect things. I read for enjoyment, and that is reflected in my reviews. Let's see. When did you get into reading? It was 2012 when I started getting into reading, like, heavily. Like I said before, in my childhood, I hated reading. What is your favorite classic book? So surprisingly, I do have a favorite classic, and that is Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. And it's a book of poems. I have a collector's edition on my shelves, and I'm not going to get it. So it's still sealed and paper wrapped. So yeah. Let's see. What is your favorite word? My favorite word is fuck. Fuck. Are you a nerd or a geek, and what is the difference between the two? I think they're both kind of the same, and I happily call myself a book nerd. Let's see. Vampires or fairies? I'm a vampire person. Something just does it for me when it comes to sucking of blood and that whole biting thing. When I think of fairies, I think of wings, and yes, they can be dark wings and they can be like dark and sinister and things like that, but I haven't really found a fairy novel that I'm like, yes, fairies. Vampires, I have found those. Very much so. Let's see. Shapeshifters or angels? I'm going with shapeshifters. Oh my goodness. Paranormal romance with shifters is where it's at. Give me a wolf shifter, give me a freaking panther shifter, give me a bear shifter, give me a I've read rabbit shifters. Oh my goodness, the shifters are crazy. I've even read a kraken like story. Kraken. Craziness. Aliens, all of that. Yes. Let's see. Spirits or werewolves? I would actually place werewolves in shapeshifters, but I think werewolves are their own thing, so we're going with werewolves on that one. Zombies or vampires, and of course vampires still. Who wants to deal with someone that's undead? Love triangles or forbidden love? I am completely on the forbidden love side. I absolutely hate a love triangle. It drives me up a freaking wall, and I am not about that life. Do I enjoy a love triangle every once in a while? Yes, I do. But for the most part, I'm like, aha, try and stay away from them. And then the last question is full on romance book or action packed with a few love scenes mixed in. I am a lover of both full-on romances as well as romantic suspense. I enjoy both. I love the writers that can write a good romantic suspense with equal parts romance. I do love the Harlequin intrigue line that I have been diving into, which is a lot of police procedurals and suspense that goes along with it, with just that little dash of romance, and I'm here for it. So that is the Bookish tag. Like I said, if you were interested in doing it, I will leave the links for the questions down below. You can go and pick and choose and make it as long as you want. But Monique was kind enough to send me the links, so I will leave them for you as well, so you can do this. It is just a hodgepodge of the things that you want to answer on those lists. Okay, as always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Also, there is a feedback form down in the description box so you guys can help me improve my channel. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in another video.